Kakadosh, good evening. Masechet Yevamot Daf Yudchet Amud Aleph, 18a1. We were just continuing by saying, Hava mina mechayim. So we just mentioned like this, if right now he would have said that the halacha is, like Divrei Omer, yesh zika, that there is zika. So then Hava mina mechayim, I would have thought to say that that's only going to be mechayim, which means when they're still alive. Aval le'achar mita, but after death, paka la zika, there's no more zika anymore. Kamashvalan comes to teach you the zika bichti lo paka, that it doesn't go away the zika. Remember, the zika is that there's an attachment, a kesher between, right, the yevama and the one that's doing the yibum. So says the Gemara, Lema Mesele, why don't we say that this is a proof to this Mishnah? The Mishnah says in Memtet Amud Aleph, Yevimto shemeta. Imagine right now you have Yevimto shemeta, so the yevama dies. So if the yevama dies, mutar ba'achota. He's allowed to get married to his sister. So, achota in, the sister, yes, bima lo, but not on the mother. So says the Gemara, no. Hu adin da filu bima, really bemet, it's permitted even the mother. I did Tana Reisha, but now that the Reisha said, Ishto shemeta mutar ba'achoto, so in the Reisha it said that you're going to be permitted to get married to the achota, to the sister. Only the sister and not the mother. Right? The Havyala Yisura Doraita was that's the Yisur Doraita. Taninami b'Seifa, so to the Seifa, I talk mutar b'achota, but it's really the same halacha applies to the mother, that it's permitted also in the mother. Okay? Mati Ravuna Barchia. So Ravuna Barchia now comes and he asks from the Mishnah in Yudzayin Amud Aleph, and the Mishnah was talking about two brothers. You remember Reuven and Shimon. Reuven dies without children, and when his wife is still waiting for Yibum, now they have Levi, the other brother that's born, right? Another brother that was born that wasn't there before. So now in the Keta Acharon, in the last part of the Mishnah, we learned that if he did not do Yibum to the wife of Reuven, but he did Ma'amar, Asaba Ma'amar. You remember what Ma'amar was?
Mm-hmm.
Ma'amar was Kiddushin, which means either Kesef or Shtar. They made a document, but there was no relations to get married to her. Vamet, now, right, he died. The Shniya, the second wife, Choletzet velo mitamimet. She does Chalitza and not Yibum. Why? Because since the wife of Shimon is only considered Midrabbanan Saratav, the wife of Reuven, because it's only Drabbanan because it was only Ma'amar done, which is Drabbanan, it wasn't real marriage, right? It wasn't real Yibum. So therefore, Ta'amad Davad Ba'Ma'amar, it's only because she did Ma'amar. But Lo Avad Ba'Ma'amar, if he didn't do Ma'amar whatsoever, Shniyanam Yibum, she could do even Yibum. Now, one second. Via Marta, now if you told me now that there is Zika, which means that there's a connection between the Yavam and Yivimto. So therefore, even if he didn't do Ma'amar and the wife of Reuven, nevertheless, it should still prohibit Yibum. Why? There's Zika between the wife of Reuven to Shimon, which is making it like her wife, his wife. So that's Sarat Eshtachim Shelo Bezika. That's a Zika. So answers the Gemara. Rabba comes and he answers. Who adin dafa gav delo avad ba'ma'amar. If the same halacha would apply that even if he didn't do the ma'amar, okay. V'shniya michlatz chaltza yibum elomiyam. That she also does chalitza, not yibum. V'hadiktani. So why do we learn the ma'amar? Lapuke from Bet Shammai, because says Bet Shammai de amri ma'amar kone kinyan gamur. According to Shitat Bet Shammai, ma'amar, which means kiddushin, giving money or a document to a yevama, it's 100 to right. It's called ma'amar.
It's not kiddushin.
Yes, ma'amar is kiddushin. Right. Ma'amar is giving the money, which is the ring, or a document. That's called ma'amar. So that if he's doing kiddushin, it acquires her 100% from the Torah. We go that it's only the Rabbanan. Okay, but according to Bet Shammai, it's mina Torah. Kamashmalan comes to teach you, right, that even if he did do ma'amar, she needs chalitza. Why? Because it's only the Rabbanan. Okay, and now we're going to share the screen. Okay, so here, let me share the screen. And second. Okay. So Kakadosh, what we're going to do is we're going to share the screen, and basically we're going to A2, where it says 8V. We're going to ask the following question. So I'm going to show it to you guys like this. Yeah, like this. We've got three brothers. Okay, Reuven, Shimon, and Levi, which he's born afterwards. Remember, this is with a brother that was born later. So what happens is Reuven and Shimon are brothers. Reuven gets married to Esther, and Shimon gets married to Hannah. Reuven dies without children. Okay, so what happens is that Shimon doesn't have enough time to do Ma'amar to Esther until Levi was born. So Levi was born before anything was done to Esther. Now Shimon also dies without children, right? Now there was still no ma'amar done to Esther. The wife of Shimon, which is Hannah, and also the wife of Reuven, Esther, they fall both of them in front of Levi. Now it's a problem. Esther is prohibited to Levi because it's Eshet Achiv Shelo B'Lamo, meaning that Levi was never in the same lifetime as Reuven. So Esther cannot get married to Levi, but Hannah is permitted to Levi. Now, if you tell me there's Zikah, so how is Hannah permitted to do Yibum to Levi if it's Sarat Eshet Achiv Shelo B'Lamo Bezikah, which means that the second that Reuven died, right, she was already Zikuka to Shimon, meaning Esther was Zikuka to Shimon, and therefore she became her tzara, right, midrabanan. So therefore that's it. So that's what the Gemara is asking. Okay? So one more time. Eighth way, we're going to ask the following question. Abaye comes and he answers from Braita, Shnei achim, two brothers, ba'olam echad, in one world, in this world, Umet Echamen and Reuven died below Vlad without a child. The Amada Sheni, right, Hazeh la'asot ma'amar b'ivimto, and the second one, which is Shimon, right, he didn't have enough time to do ma'amar b'ivimto, v'lo speak la'asot ba'ma'amar ad sheno l'luach, and he didn't have enough time to do the ma'amar until the brother was born, which is Levi. Vamet, and then Shimon also died without children. The Rishonah, meaning the wife of Reuven, right, Yotzea mishum eshet achiv shelo b'lamo, she goes free because that was the wife that was not at the same time. It was not in the same world as the brother. Ushniya, the second wife, which is the wife of Shimon, right? She does either chalitza or yibum. Now, if you're going to tell me that there's zikah, it's sarat shetachiv shelo yevamo, right? With zikah. So therefore, why is it going to be permitted to do yibum? So answers the Gemara. Hamani, who is this? Yeah, he comes and he says, Rabbi Meir. It's Rabbi Meir. Tamar en zikah. That according to Shtatim Rabbi Meir, there's no zikah. Okay, that means this is the shita of Rabbi Meir. Okay, so now says the Gemara. So again, one more time. Who is this? This is Rabbi Meir that he says en zikah. En zikah means that there's no such thing as zikah. So says the Gemara, Mi savra Rabbi Meir en zikah. Does Rabbi Meir actually hold that there's no zikah? But now we learned in a Mishnah. Arba achim. There are four brothers. Shnai mehem nesuim shte achayot. Imagine right now you have four brothers. The two of them are married to two. Now the Gemara says, how do we know this? He says, one second, we learned in the Mishnah, Ba'achim, if you have four brothers, Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, four brothers. Two of them are married to two sisters. So Reuven and Shimon are married to Rachel and Leah. Umetu, they both died, Reuven and Shimon. Okay? The ones that were married to the two sisters. Hareu elu cholsot v'lo mityamot. They do chalitza and they don't do yibum. Now why? Because both of them are zakuk for the yibum from each of the other brothers. And therefore, each one is a chot zekukato of the other one. Now, Visa, if you're going to tell me now that according to Rabbi Meir, that there's no zikah, hani mitre bate katian. The two sisters come from two separate houses. So, haili abim chada, haili abim chada. Each one could do yibum. Meaning, Levi could do yibum to Rachel or Leah, and Yudah could also do yibum to either Rachel or Leah. So, therefore, what are you telling me that according to Rabbi Meir, right, he's saying that there's no zikah. He doesn't prove that there is zikah. So answers the Gemara, leolam zikah, really be'emet, there's no zikah, en zikah, mishum de kasavar, because he holds asul levatel mitzvah yevamim. You're not allowed to be mevatel the mitzvah of yibum. Because if you're going to permit one of them to do yibum to one of the sisters, so then you're going to annul yibum from the other sister. The dilma, because maybe adamiyabem chad, because maybe by the time you're going to do yibum to one of them, might idach, the other one will die. Okay, which means one of them is going to do the yibum to one of the sisters. The other brother will die, and once the other brother will die, right? The kabatalta mitzvah yivamim, you completely annul mitzvah of yibum. Okay, fine. So says the Gemara, ve'i en zikah. Now, if you're going to tell me that there's no zikah, tibatel, what? You're going to be batel now the mitzvah of yibum? Says the Gemara, ve'i en zikah tibatel. Now, if you're going to tell me that there's no zikah, it's going to be batel mitzvah tibum. He says, if Rabbi Meir holds that there's no zikah, yeah, he comes and he says, what? You're not going to tell me that it's going to be suri boom, right? Because of chashash mitzvah, the bitul of mitzvah vibum. Rabbi Gamliel amar en zikah. Rabbi Gamliel holds also that there's no such thing as zikah. Umutal levatel mitzvah tivamin. You're allowed to batel the mitzvah vibum. The Tiramas we learned in the Mishnah later on. Listen to this case. Adam shaya nasu yitoma ktana. Imagine a person now is married to a yitoma ktana, so a small orphan. Remember, what does that mean?
Minor.
That a minor, which means that it's the rabbanan. Because remember, that means that the father, right, did not do the marriage. It was either the brother or the mother, and therefore it was only going to be the rabbanan. V'achota gdola nafla lefanav levium. Now, what happens is her older sister falls in front of her husband to do ibum. Rabban Gamliel says, Im miyana, if this little girl now does miyana, so now she completely retroactively gets rid of the marriage, and then he's allowed to do yibum to the older sister. V'lo miyana, and if she didn't do miyun, tamtina chetigdal, you have to wait until she gets older. V'tetzeh halezu mishum achot isha. And then what happens is that the Yevama is going to get out of yibum because of a achot isha. So it comes out that according to Gamliel, even though he says there's no zikah, right? He also holds there's no bitul there's no isur of being batel mitzvah tivamim, because he permits, right, for the husband, right, to continue doing that in order to get rid of the zikah of the yevama. So if so, even according to Rabbi Meir that he holds in zikah, maybe also there's no isur of being batel the yevamim. Now says the Gemara, "V'im lo mi'ana tamtina shetigdil," and then it's going to go up mishum achot isha. So Amalei comes and he answers the Gamliel to Rabbi Meir. Karamit, are you asking a question from Gamliel to Rabbi Meir? Right? To do a zikah, Rabbi Meir holds like Rabbi Gamliel that there's no zikah. But to do it, to be mvatel the mitzvah vibum, he doesn't hold of it. Rabbi Meir holds that it's asur to be mvatel the mitzvah vibum, and Rabbi Gamliel says that it's mutar. So says the Gemara, no, it's not true. Hachi kamenin, and this is what it means to say. Rabbi Meir chayish afilu lesveika. Rabbi Meir is going to be choshesh even to the safek, that maybe you're going to the doubt, that maybe you're going to another mitzvah. And Gamliel holds that even if it's going to be for sure you're going to be vatel the mitzvah, there's no problem. We don't suspect for that, right? So now, can that be the case? Can that be the case that you have two extremes? That Rabbi Meir comes and he says that even in a safek, we're going to suspect. And Gamliel says that even in a for sure case, we're not going to suspect. So says the Gemara, Dilma man de lo chayish, afilu levadai lo chayish. He comes and he says, even according to the Manda'amar, which we're not going to suspect for to be vatel mitzvah vibamim, right? Even for Vadai, we are not going to suspect. But the one that says that we are going to suspect, even for Safek, we're going to suspect. Okay, so Amale Abaye Rav Yosef. Says Abaye to Rav Yosef. Had Rav Yehuda di Shmuel. This Shita of Rav Yehuda is actually Shemuel. The Tanam, we learned in the Mishnah, Mem Aleph Amud Aleph. Yeah, look in Yud Chet Amud Bet. We just turn the page, 18b. Shomeret Yavam Shekidesh Achiv Et Achotah. Imagine right now a Shomeret Yavam. Remember, a Shomeret Yavam is a woman that she was waiting, that she fell in front of a few different Yavams. So she's waiting for one of them to do Yibum to her, right? One sister-in-law, the husband dies, right? There's a few brothers. So a few of the brothers, we don't know who's going to do it. So Shomeret Yavam, that's Nafla Lifnei Kama Yavamim. Vekidesh Achiv Et Achotah. So now, one of the Yavams, they come and they do Kiddushin to the sister of the Yavama. So says the Halacha, Mishum Rabbi Yehuda Memetera Amru, the name of Rabbi Yehuda Memetera, they said, Omrim lo, we're going to tell him, Hamten ad sheyaseh achicha maaseh. Wait until your brother does something. Let's wait. Maybe your brother is going to do yibum or chalitza, and then you will become permitted. Now, Shmuel says, Halacha Rabbi Yehuda Memetera, Halacha is like Rabbi Yehuda Memetera, which he holds that there is zikah. So therefore, for sure, we're learning it from Rabbi Yehuda, is learning this, and not from Rav. Okay, so that means what are we trying to say? We're trying to, Yudam Mitra is telling them, we tell them to wait to get married and wait for one of the brothers to make a move. Maybe they're going to do Chalitza, maybe he's going to do Yibum, and let's see. So Amalei comes of Yosef and he tells Abaye, the Rav, if you're going to tell me that this is Rabbi Yehuda, right? It's Mishel Rav, it comes from Rav. My kasha de Rav. So what's the contradiction then? Right? What's the question? It's a question on Rav and Rav. Maybe it's bemet a machloket amraim in shitat Rav, which means that sometimes maybe you could have that it's a machloket amraim in shitat Rav. So kevan diitma mishmed de Shmuel behedya, since he said in the name of Shmuel mefurash umishmed de Rav kamuraim, and they said in the name of Rav that maybe it's a machloket amraim. Lo shavkina mishmed de Shmuel behedya. We're not going to leave that which we learned in mefurash in the name of Shmuel umuchminan kamuraim ali b'Rav, and we're going to make it into a machloket and shitat Rav. Meaning like this: if I for sure have somebody say the name of Baba Haki, yeah, and then I have two different people saying, yeah, maybe yes, maybe no, in Mordechai's shita. So therefore, I'm going to go for the Vadai. I'm going to go for something that was for sure. What was it for sure? This case, okay? of Shemuel. So Amar Rav Kahana comes now and he says, Amrita lishmata kamed Rav Zvi minarda. I said this Braita, right, in front of Rav Zvid from Narda. V'amali, and he told me, Atun hachi matnitala. You guys are teaching it this way. Ve'anan behedya matnitim. But I learned it mefurash. Now what? Amar Rav Yehuda Shmuel says Rav Yehuda in the name of Shemuel, Shomeret Yavam shemeta, a Shomeret Yavam that dies, asur be'ima. It's prohibited to get married to the mother. Alma kasavar. So you see from here that he holds yeshdika. As the Shmuel Tamen, Shmuel goes according to his reasoning, but Shmuel says Malacha is like a Yudah memitera, which means again one more time. Shmuel says mefurash that there is zikah. Okay, fine. Utzriche, and you need both cases. Why do you need both cases? He comes and he says, Diashmina niyesh zikah. But if you're going to tell me now that there is zikah, havamina namile echad. I would only say that there's zikah with one brother. Aval betray, but if there's going to be more than one brother, two or more, I would say there's no zikah. Kamashmanan comes teach you halacha Rabbi Yudah memitera, that even in a case of more than one brother, there's still zikah. Now, if you're only going to tell me that the halacha is like Rabbi Yudah memitera, so I would have had a havamina hanamile mechayim only if they're still alive. But after this, she already died. Pakala zika, there's no, which means there's no zika anymore, and then the yavam is allowed to get married to the mother. Kamashmanan comes teach you the zika bichtilo paka, that it still stays the zika. Okay, and now we're on the Mishnah. Mishnah on 18b. Okay, Shnei achim, two brothers. Umet achad mehen, and one of them dies without children. V'ibem hasheni et eshet achiv. And the second one does ibum to the brother's wife. Okay? And then afterwards is born to them a brother. Okay? And then he dies. So the first one goes out from the zikat ibum because of the wife of the brother that was not in the same time. He wasn't born at the same time. He wasn't in the same world. And the second one because it's sarata, because it's the tzara. Asaba ma'amar, if he did ma'amar and then he died, Ashniya choletz v'levi. That's chalitza, not yibum. Rabbi Shimon says, "Miyabem le'ezem hen shirtzeh." You could do yibum to whichever one you want, or choletz, or you could do chalitza to whichever one. You have the choice to who to do the yibum or to who to do the chalitza. Basically, what happened is that here we see the case. Reuven and Shimon are the brothers, and Reuven gets married to Esther. He dies. Shimon does yibum to Esther. And then Shimon dies, and remember, in between, Levi is born. So since in between Levi is born, Esther cannot get married to Levi because it's Eshet Achiv Shelo Yibalomo. Okay, and Chana is Sarata of Esther, so therefore also the Tzara is going to be Tura. Okay, now says the Gemara. Okay, it says like this: Amar Rav Oshaya, says Rav Oshaya. Okay, and he comes and he says as follows. Yeah, Chalukaya Rabbi Shimon af parishona. Rabbi Shimon was also arguing in the first case, right, in the previous Mishnah, where Levi was born even before Shimon did yibum to the wife of Reuven. And even in that case, also Rabbi Shimon said that Levi is allowed to do yibum to all of the women. Mimai, why? Midiktani Mishnah Yetera, because it was an extra Mishnah, which means that since the Mishnah brought you down two different cases of Eshet Achiv Shelo Yibalomo, so therefore Baba Dereisha, the first case, which means that Levi was born before the Yibum. Leman Katanila, who was the teaching like? If it's going to be according to the Rabbanan, if it was that they did the Yibum and then afterwards he was born, that when he found that it was done be'eter, right? Still, Asre Rabbanan, the rabbis prohibited for Levi to do Yibum to the wife of Reuven after the death of Shimon. So therefore, Nolad ve'achar yibem, if the Levi was born and only afterwards did Shimon do the Yibum, okay? So therefore, when Levi was born, he found Reuven's wife in a matzav already of Isur. So Mibaye, can you actually even ask the question? Obviously not. Ela lav Rabbi Shimon itzich, but rather this is a chidush for Rabbi Shimon. The Tana Reisha, and the Reisha is coming to teach you Rabbi Shimon, to teach you the strength of Rabbi Shimon, that he's permitting the wife of Reuven to do yibum to Levi, even in a case where Levi was born before Shimon did yibum. The Tana and Seifa, and the Seifa is coming to teach you teach you the koach of Rabbanan. Uvedin, who did he flog? And it's midin that they should be arguing Rabbi Shimon bereisha. Basically, they let them finish all their words, and when they finish everything, Now Rabbi Shimon comes and he argues, which means that Rabbi Shimon didn't only argue in this case. He really argued in the previous case, but he let them finish everything that they were talking about. Once they finished, now I'm arguing on everything. Not only just on the last case, on everything. Ella, but rather, what's the case then? How are you going to find it? Says the Gemara, Bechad Acha, in a case of one brother, that means basically a person had no brother whatsoever, and he died, and then a brother was born. Right? That means when he was alive, he had no brother. He got married to Frecha, and then he died. There was no brother, and now a brother was born. Inami, or another case, Bitrei, there are two brothers. Okay, one of them dies. Velo yibem, and afterwards, right, nolad ach shlishi, right, there was a third brother that was born. Velo yibem velo mit. Now the second brother did not do yibum, and he didn't die. So the halacha of Eshet Achiv Shlo Yevamos is teaching us that it's a sur la'ach nolad to do yibum because of the koach of the achamet. He cannot do yibum. So the Gemara says, Bishlama yibem ve'achak nolad. I understand if he first did yibum and then afterwards he was born. Ki ashkacha be'eter ashkacha. So when he found her, it was a matzav of eter. What does it mean, matzav of eter? At the end of the day, in the second case, where it was the wife of Reuven was already married to Shimon during the time when Levi was born. So it comes out that she was never zekuka to Yavam at all because of Reuven. That means she was never zekuka to Levi because she was already married to Shimon. That means Levi only came into the picture after the Yibum. So therefore there was nothing here, right? But if now Levi was born and only afterwards did Shimon do the Yibum, so my tama. So what's the reasoning of Rabbi Shimon that he's going to say that it's going to be permitted? It was already an isur. So he answers, Kasavar yesh zika ve'zika beknusa damya. He holds that there is a zika, which means that there's a connection between the Yavam and, right, the Yevama, and the zika is kiknusa damya. It's already considered that he already did Yibum. So therefore, even though he didn't do the Yibum yet, it's considered like that they already did the Yibum. So Matkifla Rav Yosef comes and he asks the following question: Hashta zika umamar mesavka le'Rabbi Shimon kiknusa damya lav knusa damya. We have a doubt if ma'amar. Remember, ma'amar is kiddushin, and a person did kesef ushtar to the Yevama instead of having relations with her, because he acquires the Yevama with the relations. Instead of doing the relations, he did kiddushin. What is kiddushin? Kesef ushtar, money or a document. Now, in that case, by ma'amar or zika, there's a doubt to Rabbi Shimon, is it considered that she's already married to him or not? Zika lechudam b'ayis, so therefore, kavachomer, if it's only b'zika by itself, so what's the question? So says the Gemara, Maihi, what are we dealing with? Tetnam, as we already learned in the Mishnah, Shlosha achim nesuin l'shalosh nesuot nechuyot. I'm going to share the screen. Right, here we are. Okay? You have three brothers married to three sisters. Okay? So Reuven, Shimon, Levi are brothers. Married to, right? It says over here, sorry, not sisters. Married to three strangers. Three women. Right? Strangers. Yeah, strangers, not sisters. Sorry. Okay? Umet achad mehem. One of them died. So one of the brothers died. So Shimon now does ma'amad. Vamet, he dies. Everyone has to do chalitza, not ibum. Right? Everyone understood the case one more time. Right? Look. You have it here? Reuven, Shimon, Levi, three brothers. Right? They're all married to three different women. Okay? Three different women. Reuven dies without children. So now his wife, Sarah, falls in front of his brother to do yibum. Now Shimon did not do yibum. He did ma'amar. Remember, ma'amar is kiddushin, which is basically kesef v'shtar. Now Shimon dies without children as well. So now his wife Miriam, right, and Sarah, which was only done ma'amar, falls in front of Levi for yibum. Now they have to do chalitza and not yibum. Why? Because since zikat Sarah comes from the two brothers, meaning Sarah is coming also from Reuven and also from Shimon. Because since Sarah did not do a true yibum to Shimon, because it was only Drabanan, so therefore Sarah is coming also from Reuven and also from Shimon. So therefore, since the zika is coming from two brothers, they both have to do chalitza. That means they have to do chalitza to her and they cannot do yibum. Rabbi Shimon comes and he says, miyabem, that he could do yibum to whichever one he wants. Why? Because if you're going to tell me the ma'amar is koneh, so it's the wife of Shimon. If you're going to tell me ma'amar is not koneh, so it's the wife of Reuven. So therefore there's no problem. Okay? One of them is going to die. Okay, so therefore, since it says one of them is going to die, right? Yevama yavo alea. Right? What does that mean? Only a woman that has one zikah. Not that she has two yevamim. Shimon says, whichever one you can do yibum. And she does chalitza to the next one. Okay? So you understood. Meaning that until now we're learning a very important yisod. The yisod is that when a woman does yibum, she can only do yibum if she has a zikah, which means a connection to one because of one husband, not because of both husbands. The second, it's going to be because of both husbands, it's going to be a problem. So says the Gemara, Yavu metarvayhu lo. Right? You're not going to tell me to do yibum to both of them, okay? Because the dilma yesh zikah, because maybe there's going to be zikah, right? Vehavu shtei yevamot abaot, and therefore it's going to be two yevamot which are coming mibayit echad, two yevamot coming from the same house of Shimon. Now you cannot do yibum to both of them. If right now Shimon is married to two women, yeah, and Shimon dies, we cannot do yibum to both wives. Yibum is only done to one of the wives. The other wife goes free. So therefore, you cannot do a yibum because both of them are coming from the same house. So you can't do that. And that's where we're saying that you cannot do such a thing.